There we go. Hello, everyone. I am happy that you're here. And I also did not realize that I had logged in as a regular user rather than as the administrator. So I had to go out and go back in there. Hi. So, as you might have guessed, I'm Reuven. I'm glad you're joining me. I'm totally happy to answer whatever questions you have. I don't know, sometimes people don't want to talk, sometimes people don't want video, so I'm happy to take that role as necessary. So where are you folks from? What questions do you have? What can I answer? What personal problems can I solve? If for whatever reason the sound isn't working well or you don't want to use it, you can also just use the chat on the side to type. That's fine too. Silence. All right, well, I hope you're hearing me. Let me check that my sound is actually working. I think it is. Okay. Let me just double check that. There we go. Yeah. Looks like it's working. Okay. So basically, I mean, I'll wait. Let's see. Wait a second. And R. Hernandez, it looks like you are somehow muted. I'm not sure if that's. I'm going to assume that's because you want to be muted. I'm not going to like forcibly unmute you here. So basically, I assume you're here to learn more about weekly Python exercise. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. I'm happy to sort of give you a basic introduction, ideas, thoughts. But I guess I'll let you folks lead if you have questions. And if not, I can just babble for an hour. That's like what I do professionally, yeah? Okay, you have invited the babbling. So you don't have to stay for the full hour either, by the way. So basically, look, I've been running weekly Python exercise for about 3 years now, something like that, 3.5 years. And it's grown over time, definitely grown, and I've learned how to do it, I think, better and better. But the core idea remains the same from the beginning, which is people take Python courses and they come away saying, okay, I learned a lot, but how can I actually apply it to my day-to-day work? And the gap there between what they've learned and actually using it is what I always emphasize is fluency. And it's fluency like you have in any language, right? You take a course in a language and then you go off and try to use it. And you suddenly realize, oh, I can't quite pull out those verbs and those nouns and those adjectives and prepositions as fast as I'd like. And so by using the language more, you get more fluency. And that's true for human languages, and that's true for programming languages as well. And so weekly Python exercise is designed to try to get you more fluent by using it, by learning to sort of research things. And what we're starting tomorrow is one of my, what I call my A-level courses, the intro level courses, for people who have some experience with Python. I say it's up to a year. It sort of depends how much you've been using and what you've been doing. And the idea is that over the 15 weeks of the course, you'll solve a lot of problems. You'll communicate with other people in the forums. You'll discuss it with me. You'll discuss it with others. And little by little, you will get better at Python, such that now you're not going to go from 0 to super fluent, right? That's never going to happen. But it'll move you along. It'll get you better so you can do more in less time, more fluently, more Pythonically, and hopefully learn quite a bit along the way as well. So that's the basic pitch. And I love running this course. And each time, I mean, I think it's the second or third time I'm going to be running these exercises for beginners. And I specifically set up the beginner levels to be more topic oriented. So in this course, we're going to be talking a lot more about data structures. There will be some functions here and there, but really very, very minimal. Just like if you can write a basic function, you're probably set. And it's going to be a lot of strings and numbers and lists and tuples and dictionaries and sets and different ways we can use them to solve different problems. And you'll see that over time, you'll have more tools in your toolbox, as it were. Okay. Anything I can answer now? Maybe. Or not. Can folks tell me at least where you're from? Can I ask that question? Ooh, a shy group. Did I need to like unmute you, or no, we've just got shy people? All right, fine. I am familiar with people like that. That is to say, some friends, some children of mine, so forth. As I said, I really enjoy teaching this course. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. I think it's a great way to learn. And I was actually just talking to a colleague of mine a few days ago, and he was saying and he's going to be joining as well. He said what he really likes about the course in many ways is that it is spread out over time. Right, I could just give you 15 exercises and the answers, and you could work on them yourself. But the fact that it's drawn out over time, it's like that drip, drip, drip into your brain to get better, to get more fluent, to get more understanding, so that you'll also have deeper understanding and deeper learning. At least that is the hope and the plan. Well, anything I can do to answer, explain. One or both of you. Oh, I'm hearing some funny sounds. I don't know if that's from me or from you. I don't know. Okay. Oh, I'm from home unexpected. Oh, sorry. It doesn't have to be Q&A, right? Right. I mean, I'm as I said, I'm happy to talk for as long or as little as you want. I figure people might have questions. People might want to know what we're doing. People might want examples. Whatever I can do to to sort of help and explain is I'm happy to do. I mean, I'll sort of give you what I can do also here. Watch this. Just give me a few moments here. Let's pull up that. I'll just show you sort of, oh, actually, it's just easier to pull it up here, from here. Just give me a moment here. Yeah. So this is the way, and you might or might not have been through the samples that I put online. Oh, excellent, excellent. So I was just hearing like some funny stuff, and I'm not sure, there are also some like construction going on around me as well. So basically, so it could be construction, could be that I'm in my wife's office as opposed to mine, and so like cables aren't set correctly. In any event, I don't know if you've seen that, like the samples that I set up. Let me, I'm just going to share my screen here for a moment so you can see that. Share, and I'm going to do, bam, that. Now you can see the Emacs buffer in which I write these things. All right. So what we've got here is, it's a little hard to read perhaps, but this is sort of what each question is going to look like. Meaning, basically, you're going to get email with a question, with like some different descriptions of what we're going to be doing, what the goal is, and then also it's going to list where you can go to get some more information, right? Because now some people won't need that at all. It's always hard to tell when you're doing an internet-based course. And I said it to be for anyone up to a year in Python. That's a pretty wide definition. And so some people will have just learned Python last month or two, and other people have been using it for a year or so. So basically, if you want to learn more and go deeper, I'll give you some resources. If you don't need it, that's fine too. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide you with PyTest tests. And so what you're going to get on each Tuesday, starting tomorrow, for example, is the tests. And part of that is because I think it gives a nice, stricter definition of the problem than just describing in text. Part of it is it also can give you a sense of, oh, did I get it or did I not? And part of it is to see, how do you write tests? I actually am relatively new to testing. I mean, I've been doing it for years, but poorly. And PyTest really raised my game a lot. PyTest has really meant that I can do much better at testing, I think, than before. And so what I started to do was using PyTest in a weekly Python exercise. So you get the description, you get the test, you can run the tests against your solution. And little by little, you'll see how you're doing. And then what will happen is, on the following Monday, I will send out the answer, which is a long, like, text-based email with examples and with ideas, a sort of a whole article-length description walking through my thought process. Because it's really important to me that you not just, what was I going to say? That you not just see the answer, right? You can always, once again, get the answers. But the process of getting through the answers, that's what's really important. And so basically what I'm going to do is walk you through my thought process, sometimes even some different alternatives. And then, of course, I'll give you the solution as well. And all this uses Python 3. I'm currently still using 3.7. I don't think I'm using anything that's specific to 3.7 that you don't have in 3.6. And so if you're using 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, any of those should be more than adequate. You need to have 3.6 at least, in part because I'm a big fan of F strings, like you see here. And so you'll really want to have that available. Otherwise, it'll be kind of a pain for you. And so the idea is, Tuesdays we get this, Mondays we get that. I'll tell you, I've done office hours, live office hours in the past, sort of like this with Zoom, where people can drop in. I've had mixed results with numbers of people showing up. So I'm going to try to experiment a little bit with the hours. Then I would sometimes like give up and not do office hours, but I'm actually going to try to commit to about once a month doing office hours for all the different weekly Python exercise cohorts combined. So whoever shows up, that'll be totally fine. And as far as I'm concerned, we can go over the questions, either the ones that we've done previously, that month, or even beforehand if you want. And if there's time, we can even go over other questions that you might have in Python in general. I'm happy to share that. And I've had also sort of a mixed record on then recording and uploading it, so I'm going to be much better about that now. I have a process in place to do that, so it should be a bit easier for me and for everyone else. And so the plan is, like, the idea is, between the weekly exercises and the solutions and the tests and our forum, I should add the forum, where traditionally people share answers with one another. And the idea is that everyone can sort of learn from everyone else. Obviously, also, if you don't get it, if you're stuck, if you have problems, questions, then you can post that to the forum also. And I try to hang out in the forum as much as I can and answer questions if people have them. And that way, you're sort of getting held by the hand as much as you want and need during the course. And each exercise should take, hopefully, about an hour to solve. Some of them will take you 10 minutes, and some of them will take you 2 hours. It depends on you, depends on the exercise, depends on the topic, depends on your background, depends on all sorts of different things. But my goal is for it to take about an hour at most, right? You shouldn't have to, start a second career in solving Python exercises in order to get something out of it. So that's the basic plan. It's both, I think, simple and powerful and effective. And this is the first of 6 different weekly Python exercise cohorts I'll be running in 2020. I can't believe it's 2020 already. I'll be running 2020. Basically, every month and a half, 2 months, I start up a new cohort, and I alternate beginner and advanced levels. So this is A1. The next one I'll be doing is D1, and then A2, B2, A3, C3, A2, A3, B3. And those will be throughout the year. 2 things that I'm introducing this year, or plan to introduce this year. So first of all, a lot of people have asked me in the past about certification. They say, okay, let's say I do this course. Do I get any sort of certification for it? And the answer is, as I always like to say, yes and no. So I will be offering an experimental certification system. And what I'm basically doing is asking this new cohort for about 10, 15 volunteers. And those volunteers will get me their code before the answer comes out on Monday. And so what'll happen is, if the answer comes out on Monday, you'll email me, upload it to the forum. I have yet to exactly decide, because there are a few different considerations there. But basically, you'll get me your solution. I'll run them against the tests. And the percentage of tests that pass will then be your score for that exercise. And then I'll average it over the 15 weeks. And if you get over 70%, then I'll consider that passing. And I will give you a fancy, okay, maybe not so fancy, certificate saying that you indeed passed this course. What I'm hoping is to see if people are interested in the certification, get sort of the bugs out of it, at least manually, and then over the course of the year, automate it so that anyone who wants to do the certification can do that, uploading it to a server that'll run the tests and calculate things for you. How exactly I'll do that, when I'll do that, depends. I want to see first how this experiment runs. The second thing I'm going to be introducing in 2020 with Weekly Python Exercise is hopefully 1 or 2 additional courses, what I'm calling my C-level courses, which will be on particular topics. And I get to decide whether it's going to be on data science or web applications, or what they call design patterns, or a few other ideas. So those are still being worked out. My guess is they'll happen over the summer at some point. And it is same sort of formula, just running on different topics. So people who want to specialize in something can really get there and get more advanced on that front. So that sort of covers the ground that I wanted to. I'm super happy, again, to answer questions if you have. But if not, that's okay too. I'm just going to stop the sharing from there. I'm curious, what have both of you signed up already for this cohort? Or you're just curious? Just wanted to hear the lovely sounds of my voice. All are possible. All right. Well, it looks like we're going to have about, was it like 70 people in this cohort? It was a little on the low side, but I'm happy to have that number. Excellent. Basically, I usually aim to have like 100 or so people in the cohort, and we have, as always, there are some people who are a little louder, some people a little quieter. Totally fine. Some people just sort of want to do it on their own, and some people want to take advantage of the community as well. And I love seeing people's solutions. What we do is we use Discourse, which is this fantastic web-based forum system. And if you think the words fantastic and web-based forum system cannot be in the same sentence together, you haven't tried Discourse. At least I really love it. I've been very impressed by it. People have asked about a Slack channel. And while I know that's immediate, I actually prefer Discourse because it keeps the information around, keeps it live. It's not just who's online at a given time. But we'll see if a lot of people overwhelm me with requests for Slack. Okay. I totally understand. Look, the fact is, first of all, if you're a caregiver with limited time, I feel for you, and that's a very, like, what can I say? It's a draining both time wise and I'm sure emotionally and physically as well. And as you say, with predictability of your time being poor. And I wouldn't say that there's like a definite amount of time you need to spend on it. And people can definitely, like, I've definitely gotten email from people who say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I wasn't able to keep up with the last 3 exercises." I am totally fine with that, right? Like, I mean, from my perspective, I'm providing you with a service. And if you want to go over the exercises later, that's totally fine. That said, I definitely do see an added value in doing it along with the community. That's one of the reasons I designed the course the way that I did. And so I think if you're not sure if you'll really be able to participate on a regular basis, you probably do want to hold off a little bit at least. And I do run these, every month or two, depending on your Python level, and they're all different, right? So over the course of the year, I'll run 6 at this point, different weekly Python exercise cohorts, and each one will be with different questions. I should add also the questions that I have, the exercises that I have, are totally different from in my book, in the Python workout that's coming up from Manning really soon, and also all the courses that I offer online. Of course, it's the same person writing them, right? Me. And thus the style is going to be similar. And some of the, shall we say, paradigms are going to be similar. And yet I, I try to keep it mixed up a little bit and interesting. I've also found from surveying people in the course that they really like the exercises that build upon one another. So it's not just a one-off, this exercise, that exercise once a week, but that we sort of grow and grow. And so in this A1 course, we definitely have a few of those where we'll take a topic and explore it for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time, building on what we did before. And so I was actually, like, I don't know how surprised I was, but I was somewhat surprised that people really like those so much. Like, it just came through in all the surveys again and again. And so I'm definitely trying to improve that and service that also. Any questions I can offer or answer? I guess the answer is no so far. All right. Well, I'm sort of done with what I have to say, I guess. I'm going to hang out here for a bit longer, see if anyone else shows up. If they do, fantastic. And if not, they're lost. And then I'm going to take the recording of this and I'll put it online, I guess. So thanks to both of you for joining. You're welcome to stay. I'm not sure if anyone else is going to show up. I'm not sure how exciting this will be after now, but I'm very happy to have you here. And I hope to see you in this course or in future ones whenever you have a chance. I totally get it. Excellent. All right. So as I said, I'm going to hang out here for a bit longer, see if anyone shows up. Sometimes there's someone who, like, last minute. I'm a very last minute kind of person, so I understand those people who get in. Oh, it's an hour-long webinar, so I'll just get it at minute number 58, and they'll have to answer my questions. I am that sort of person. So we'll see. All right. Well, tell you what. I'm going to mute. Oh, here we go. Excellent. Okay. Go. Enjoy work. All the best. All right. So I'm going to mute my microphone now. Oh, my pleasure. Excellent. Bye-bye. All right. I'm going to mute my mic now for those of you watching this recording. And if and when someone shows up, I guess I can pause. Oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to pause the recording. And if and when someone shows up, I will unpause it. Yeah. Hey there, Tim. Welcome. I've been hanging out, waiting to see if we had some other people in here before. Happy to have you here. Where are you from? If you want to type, by the way, instead of using your mic, that's fine too. People have been very shy so far. You might not have realized this was going to put you on the spot. That's fine too. Anyway, I'll give you a quick intro. I don't know if you're here with questions, if you want to just hear, if you just want to see me and what my wife's office looks like, because they're doing construction on our neighbor's house right next to my office. So I've been hearing drilling all day there. But basically, I'm here hanging out, telling people about weekly Python exercise, 15 weeks of introductory Python exercises. Little by little, you will hopefully get better and more fluent. And this particular cohort, what I call A1, is for beginners who want to improve their use of data structures. That's say strings, lists, tuples, dictionary sets, using both them and the methods that they include and that they provide. And I'll just say also, like, so many people in my Python classes sort of roll their eyes when I talk about these basic data structures. And they're like, oh yeah, come on. Like, show us the real objects. Show us what we really need to be using. And I try to explain to them that that's sort of like going into a chemistry class and saying, enough of these elements, show me the real chemicals. So really understanding Python and knowing how to use it well is all about using these built-in data structures really, really well. And so this course is meant for people who are relatively new to Python. I define that as, say, less than a year's experience with the language, who want to strengthen their understanding of how, when, and why to use, like, why would you use a list rather than a dictionary rather than a set. And so, Tuesday you will get an exercise, a question, along with PyTest tests. On Monday, you will get a solution, along with both a code solution and extended answer. And in between, we've got a forum where you can talk to people, exchange ideas, share your answers so that others can learn from them. And this time I'm going to be starting 2 new things. Well, this cohort, I'm starting something new, which is I'm going to take a few people who are interested and do certification. So if people want, they can send me their code before the answers come out on Monday. And then I will run PyTest on their code, and then that'll be their grade for that. And then if you get a 70 or more, then I can give you a certificate saying that you successfully passed the course. And this is all manual. This is all very new. And if people are interested in it, if it really succeeds, then I'll automate it and extend it to a bunch more of my courses. So that's the basic sort of 2-minute intro, 3-minute intro to the course. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, wondering stuff, personal questions, go for it. I'm happy to answer whatever you got. And if not, if you're just hanging out here trying to find out what other people are interested in or who else is here, bad news, it's only me and you right now. Tim, where are you from? Can you at least tell me that or write that in the chat maybe? I don't know if you're familiar with the chat here. Zoom is sort of a funny interface. Might not be obvious. Okay, and maybe these webinars are always, I realize that you might be busy with other things too. All right, well, I'm here hanging out, answering questions if people have, or just telling you about weekly Python exercise. I'm more than happy to answer your questions as well. If you just want to hang out and sort of wait and see if anyone else shows up, that is fine too. No trouble with that. All right, I'm just gonna mute my microphone for a bit while I wait for other people to show up. If and when you have questions, do not hesitate to let me know. You can write them, you can speak them, and any questions, let me know. And otherwise, I'm just going to hang out here, wait for other people if anyone shows up for the next 15, 20 minutes or so.